Welcome back to the KIX 96.5 morning show. We love featuring artists you should know about on the show, and today we're heading to Australia to chat with country music artist Jessie Che. Jessie's based out of Adelaide Hills in rural South Australia. She loves to sing, but her absolute favorite thing is to write lyrics. She's been nominated and won numerous awards for it. Last year, she released 4 singles, Ghost being her most recent. And she's working on her debut album. We're stoked to have Jessie Che on the show. First, Jessie, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Jeff. It's a pleasure.
Well, Happy New Year. Did you celebrate? What did you do?
I actually had a pretty quiet New Year's. I spent the evening on the farm with my animals and was able to get up and feel really good the next day, which was great.
Yes, that's definitely a plus.
It was really great.
Well, you mentioned the farm, so let's talk about that, because this is interesting. You live in Adelaide Hills in southern Australia, so, I mean, it must be hilly. Is it farm country? Where are you at?
So we are, where I live is basically the hills behind the city of Adelaide. So it is only about an hour to our capital city, but it does feel like you are out in the country in the middle of nowhere too, because it's quite rural and it is quite isolated in some ways because there are quite a lot of bigger farms out this side, but it's really, really wonderful to have lots of nature, lots of animals. Sometimes I wake up and there's kangaroos on my front lawn. It's really quite different.
Wow, that would be sweet. That would be really awesome.
Yeah,
to see that.
It's really great.
and what, do you live off the land?
No, I don't. I do work as well, so to look after all my animals, but I do actually grow and try and substitute a lot of my food with what I grow on the land. So I've got lots of potatoes in at the moment. Coming into winter, you got to make sure you get all those sorts of staples that you can have in your pantry. So I don't live completely off land, but I do grow hay for my animals as well, which is excellent. So I try and be as self-sufficient as possible, but it's not a big enough farm to probably be able to do the whole thing just on the farm, but I love it. It's really great. Yeah,
if you go and follow her on Instagram or Facebook, she's got all kinds of pictures of her out on the farm, and it looks pretty awesome. And one thing out on the farm is Nixon, your horse. Tell us about Nixon, because you do what, horse competition, this Western dressage, or what is this?
That's it, yeah. So Nixon and I, we do Western dressage. It's quite a new discipline over here in Australia. I think it's pretty big in the US. So yeah, it's really great because you get to do, it's like a dance routine basically for horses. So in the dressage arena, they've got to do certain movements at certain letters. But the best thing is you get to ride in Western gear and wear jeans and a Western hat, and it's much more comfortable, and I love it. It's great. It's really great fun, and he's such a good boy. So he's had the summer off, though, because I've been doing lots of jobs on the farm. So he's going to get back into work soon.
Sorry, Nixon, your summer's over. It's time to get back to work.
Summer's over, buddy.
And you can check out Nixon. He's in the In My Hands video. Well, your dad was a professional drummer in London. Your mom's American. How did they meet?
They met in England because Mum was over there going to boarding school. So basically what happened was Mum didn't want to live in England. Dad wasn't sure about moving to America because he's very British. And so they made the decision to come to Australia. I think Mum made the decision and Dad got dragged here, but
shocking.
But they love it. So I was the first one in our family to be born here in Australia. So yeah, it's a really lovely country, and I'm so grateful Mum and Dad chose Australia. But I would love to go and see where they were both born as well. So I do need to come to the US to come and see where Mum was born in Virginia, and I'd love to go to England to see where my dad was born too, because it's important to know where you come from, you know?
Oh yeah. Well, and it's interesting that you haven't, well, I've never been to Australia, so you haven't been to the States, so.
No.
There we go. I'd love to be there, or come check you guys out, that's for sure.
It's a really great country, and in Australia we have a lot of people that travel from overseas, and I mean, it's a long way to get here, but everyone says that when they do get here that it's really worth it. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I saw like a Jessie Che band. So were you in a band before? You took a break? So what got you back rolling again, Jessie?
Okay, yes, I was in a band. I've had a couple of different bands over the years, but the best thing is the guys that I was with in the band, they're actually working with me on a lot of these recordings. So it's kind of like I've got most of the band back again, which has been really great. But the reason why I took a break was so that I could do some house flipping to be able to afford to get a property. So I was kind of focusing on that and my career and doing studies and doing all of those sorts of things. You know, life kind of gets in the way a little bit. And so I put music down for a little while. And then a couple of years ago, I was just standing by the fire here. It was cold winter's night. And I thought, I really need to get back into this. I really miss it. It's something that's really important to me. So I thought, darn it, I'm going to do an album. It was a random thought, but I've kind of progressed on since then. So yeah, started co-writing again with all my friends that I'd co-written with before. And then, yeah, I've just been throwing myself into everything that I possibly can to learn as much as I can to keep improving my songwriting. That's my main thing that I love. Yeah.
Well, you're knocking it out of the park as a lyricist, that's for sure. Go check her out, Jessie Che at chemusic.com. She's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Her latest single, Ghosts, is out now, and you're going to hear it here in a few minutes. But In My Hands, you wrote it on New Year's Day, which is kind of fitting since we just missed it on 2022. But you were inspired by a book called Saved by a Song. Well, this song kind of saved you a little bit. Or how did it come about?
Yes, so it was really interesting. I had just read that book, which my musical mentor had given me, which I was so grateful for. And it was just such a really interesting book, how so many people, and especially Mary who wrote it, have, you know, music has saved them. It's brought them back to life. It's put them back together again. And it was how I was feeling coming back to music. It was like a piece of the puzzle of me was coming back again. So it kind of all went in my, like when I write lyrics, I sometimes sleep on things and will wake up with a certain kind of thread of an idea or a melody. And so that particular morning I'd woken up with a melody because I'd been doing this particular riff on guitar and it just came out. And then I watched a really cool live stream that morning with Mary and Gretchen, and it was their New Year's Eve and it was my New Year's Day morning, and watching them with their guitars and how both of those women were such amazing singer-songwriters, I was like, yeah, I just love this. I can see how writing for them has helped them be their best person, and that's how I was feeling getting back into it. So it's just, yeah, and I just wrote the whole song in a whole day. So I started that morning, and I've got this little video that I did, which I don't know if anyone will ever see because it was 11 o'clock at night that night and I was pretty tired, and I was, just putting the finishing touches on the video. So I had on the song, so I had to do a video to make sure I didn't forget it. So the next day I could kind of come back to it and then actually write all the chords down. So I had the lyrics done and I'd been playing around with it and I was like, yep, this is it. So yeah, it was a big day, but I'm so glad I wrote that song because it's been really special and it's meant a lot to other people as well. They're finding their own meaning in it, which I think is really great.
We played it yesterday on the show. We will play it again this morning, In My Hands by Jessie. Is it because we're older? Is it because we're wiser? Is it because experiences? I talked with Jax Tonic, who's another Australian artist, and he's 50 and he's back at it, and his songs are pretty deep. What do you think it is? Why are we writing better songs now at this point in your life?
I really think it's because you do have the life experience. You've kind of had a few bruises. You've lived life a little bit. And I think that it's all of those things that make you a better writer. I mean, I know our world is obsessed with, youth and all of that, which is great. It's lovely to be young and enthusiastic. But once you've got a few runs on the board, I think you actually are able to put forward your ideas more succinctly. You've hopefully read more, you're better with your words. You've actually had time to come at the craft. So Yeah, I think it's time and experience, and like everything, like a fine wine, as you get older, just the subtleties and the depth kind of come through. So, yeah.
Well, I heard you say in one interview you did, like modern country, it's kind of cookie cutter. They're knocking them out real fast. Maybe being an independent artist, like you said, we could think about it and we can, get to where we want to be instead of just pumping something out real fast.
There is a luxury in being able to be an independent writer where you don't actually have other people pushing you to do a certain product. The best thing is I think when people are doing their music independently, which is really great now, like it's a lot more available and accessible to be able to release your own music. You can actually have something that is more of a distilled voice that is your own. So I definitely think that that's the case. Yeah.
Go and check her out, Jessie Che at chemusic.com. She's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Her latest single, Ghost, is out now, and her full length is coming in 2024. We'll talk about that. But congratulations, Jessie. Sender, it made it to the semifinals because everybody I've talked to in Australia is just gangbusters over this Tamworth Songwriting Awards, and you're up for one. It's got to be exciting.
Yeah, so it was really great getting that one into the semis. I co-wrote that song with a friend of mine, and we actually co-wrote it many years ago. So it was really lovely to be able to do a proper recorded version of that song. And I just love the dobro and the slide guitar and pedal steel and that in that song. My musical mentor who plays those guitars, and he did the arrangement for this. I really love it. It was like when he sent me the idea, I'm like, yes, I love it. This is so great. So yeah, I really love that song. So yeah, it's coming up to Tamworth time here in Australia, and it's January is everyone thinks all roads lead to New South Wales. So that's Australia for you.
Well, yeah. Well, how far are you away from Tamworth?
It's about 18 hours drive.
Oh, geez. Holy cow. So it's clear on the other end of the country. Jessie, you're a lyricist. You mentioned it. You like co-writing with people, which, I mean...
Yes, I love co-writing.
Who are you co-writing with? I mean, I saw that you were co-writing with somebody that you've known for like 20 years.
So that's one of my main co-writing friends is Mark Gelling. We met at a songwriting workshop way back in the day, and he comes up with such great ideas. And the way that we co-write is fun. It's kind of like a musical crossword. So he'll have the melody and kind of the structure and the form of the song, and he'll send it through to me with kind of like na-na-nas or wherever, just sign it, like working out the melody. And then I write backwards to that. So then I will write the story and the lyrics to that. So it's like a musical crossword. I think that's the best way to describe it. And the thing is certain melody notes work better with different words or different vowel sounds. So being a singer, it kind of helps because then I will sing through the ideas and work out which vowel sounds and which words will work well, but then they also have to fit the story. So yeah, it's quite tricky, but it's really satisfying when you get it right. And then I send it through to him, and then I'm nervous and I think, oh gosh, is he going to like it? And normally comes back, yeah, that's great. Or he'll say, have you thought about such and such? I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I thought about that. So yeah, it's really great. So that is just so much fun. But I'm actually doing another side project as well at the moment, which is in more of an 80s sound. With my friend in that, we co-write in a very similar way. So I have also co-written in person with people when I was in Tamworth doing the College of Country Music. We just got paired up with people and had to go into a room and write. So I have done it in person as well. But I really like doing the musical crossword way because it's really cool.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. There's all different ways you can get it done, but Ghost, were you? I mean, you play the guitar, so you were sitting around the campfire strumming the guitar, and this song comes to you. Where were you at? Were you on the farm?
Yes, I was on the farm. Yep, I was just sitting by the fire here, and it was a really cold, dark night, and I was just strumming away because how I normally I'm not the best guitar player. I play to write music. So I wish I was better. And that's one of my goals this year, is to get better at playing guitar. So I'm always say I'm a singer first. So I was just strumming and learning some different chords, and I had this progression I was working on in minor chords. So, you know, as most people know, when you're working in a minor key, it's normally a sadder song. So yeah, this one just kind of poured out. Yeah, and again, it was really quick. It was just, you know, within half a day, this one was finished. It had a little bit of polishing, but yeah, it was. But I think a lot of the time, songs bubble away in the back of my mind for a while before they then land. So it's really weird how kind of your subconscious works. It's really interesting, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's about relationships. Is it because our attention span is going so short? Why do relationships grow stale?
Oh, gee, if I knew the answer to that.
You'd stop writing songs. That's
yeah, probably. Yeah. So I think that I think you can grow together. People can grow apart. I think the other thing is who we are after a certain period of time is not who we possibly were when we first were with that person. So maybe as time goes on, you know, you become that less compatible. I'm not sure. It's specifically with ghosts. It was more around also modern dating, because some people just treat each other really awfully, and it's like, just because someone isn't face to face, that they don't have to give them any common courtesy or have good manners. I mean, and we see it everywhere on the internet. It's like people behave really badly. Like, one thing I do, especially with a lot of my internet friends that I've got overseas, or how I've met people, is I like to try and say at least 3 positive things online to someone, whoever they are, on any post or anything in a day. So I think having common courtesy, being kind, and that's kind of what Ghost was originally about. It was just like, why can't people just be nice, you know?
Yeah. How warm is it where you're at?
It's not too bad. We've actually had quite a mild summer here in the Adelaide Hills, and it's normally a little bit cooler up here than it is down on the plains. So because we're just a little bit more elevated, we get a bit more rainfall. So it's been quite good, actually. So, and I'm really happy because I've been planting a lot of trees on the farm, and I just put another 300 in a couple of months ago. So all this summer rain has been fabulous. Yeah. So I'm really happy about that.
Wow, 300 trees, Jessie. What are they?
They're mainly gum trees. So I try and make sure that they are species that are native to the area of the hills that I live in. And also that I like to plant a lot of koala trees in the hope that one day a koala will be in one of my trees. So if I think if I plant it, they will come. So,
exactly.
But I've had a beautiful pair of black yellow-tailed cockatoos that have decided to start living on some of the big trees with hollows on my boundary. I've just noticed them the last couple of weeks, which is brilliant. And I've got some owls that roost by my house as well. So I really love the native animals. They're so special.
Wow. Yeah. We need to head to Jessie's ranch or her farm. Kangaroos and the koalas are coming. Jessie Che, she's JessieCheMusic.com. She's on Facebook, Instagram. Go and check her out. She's also on YouTube. Go and check out all of her stuff. Goals for 2024, the new album. How's it coming? What are we thinking?
Yeah, it's going really well. We've got pretty much all the songs ready to go. There are 1 or 2 that need a little bit more work. I've got another session actually booked with Anthony in the studio in February to do final vocals on a couple of other songs, and then also on some songs for the album. So, but yeah, so that my next tune's coming out on, I think it's the 8th February. I have to double check that date. But yeah, so that's coming out, and it's called Pretty Baby, and it's really funny. It's a really funny song. So yeah, not too much longer to go. I've got a few more singles to release, and then I'll be able to bundle them up and do a live launch here in Adelaide.
Awesome. Are your folks still alive?
Yes, they certainly are.
Where are they at?
They're about 10 minutes from where I am, which is great.
Well, I
get to see them. Yeah, it's great. I get to see them a lot, and yeah, I love my folks a lot. They're great.
Yeah. I bet your dad has some cool stories.
Oh my lord, my dad has so many cool stories. It's so much fun, and the best thing is when if I'm trying to work a tempo out for a song, or I'm just trying to work out what beat or anything, I'll say to Dad, "Oh look, Dad, could you just give me a hand working this out?" Like within 10 minutes, literally, he's got his snare drum under his arm. He's got and he's here, and he's like, "Right, let's work on this." So it's just so much fun. It's really great being able to share music in a family sense is really, really special. So I love it, and I love singing with my dad. He's really good at harmonies. So yeah, he's much better than me with harmonies. I'm more of a lead singer. So and I'm trying to convince him into joining a local choir. So I just before Christmas, I saw a really cool local choir, and I'm like, Dad, we need to do this. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, maybe you can get him on a track or something too, or.
Yeah, I would love to. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Go and check her out. Big things coming. Jessie Che, music.com. She's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Here's her latest single, Ghost. Jessie, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
It's Jessie Che. It's KIX 96.5.